Hey everyone, I'm Charlotte, and welcome back to Unstriped, a 10-day series where we look into our art journey and how we got to where we are right now. So, today is a bit of a controversial one, and the next following set of pictures would be comic panels that I made using an app called Animaker, the first version of the comic series, and you could say it's technically AI. So, let me break it down for you. Each of the panel is like 1 minute, 1 second. So enjoy seeing the panels. So this platform called Animaker is basically a video platform, like video presentation platform, like something similar to Canva, but more in the sense of Powtoon, where you can make slides easier. Except you can customize your own avatar, right? It's basically like you can make your own Bitmojis and add to it. And that's exactly what I did. And for the backgrounds, I used existing stock characters and then added the text bubbles. And to avoid the watermarks, I'd basically print screen of every panel and then eventually cut each of the panels. Before we get into talking about that, I wanted to just take a moment to show the fact that I wrote a whole poem for the first draft of the novel and the comic series. Unfortunately, I don't think there'll be poems just yet, but it was supposed to be this epic poetic book, but then scrap that idea out and the original novel form came back again. But yeah, fun fact about things we learned while making a comic series. Yeah, but eventually, while I was making this comic series in quotations, I realized that all the stock that was existing as backgrounds and all of these were resources I didn't pay for, and that's why there was the watermark. And had I paid for it, then maybe. But I believe over time I also started using Pinterest backgrounds for stock footage to aid to the comic series' progression and ensuring that this made sense. So because of that, I ended up not posting it, but this is what happened, right? And if you see, yeah, this panel is how I arranged it for Webtoon so that you can scroll up. And fun fact, I even made a meet the characters as you see on screen, which is very jagged, by the way. I don't know what happened to the quality, but this was there. And then there were character sheets, which you'll see in the following set of seconds. So this was Charlotte Pourquoi, and then there was one for her best friend, for her other best friend, and the main arch enemy. Now, looking back, these characters are not necessarily the main characters, but they were part of the original plot, right? And yeah, it's genuinely nostalgic in one sense. Yes, it did use very unconventional methods that at one point I had to think about, oh, I would totally be cancelled for this. And then I ended up not posting it. And yeah, anyways, on screen you see all four of them together. But at that point, I never even started digital art, and I didn't know how to bring about the idea of a comic series onto paper. As you can see, this was like thumbnail version for Webtoon, but this was made on Canva. Congratulations to whoever made that illustration on the right, because that was amazing that I chose it for my main main Webtoon profile for the comic series. But anyways, the piece that you see on screen is to show an actual piece of the comic series, a panel from the comic series right now, which is slowly in progress. But point being that at that point I didn't know digital art at all. And it was one way I was learning, but I understood that it wasn't right, so I didn't pursue with it. And I think that is also important in a journey to know of it. But I learned from it, and although it was years ago, it was still something that I cherish because it was the first draft of the comic series itself, and it made me want to create, want to do this by myself, and hence you see the panel on screen and that being a reality now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You can find me at Charlotte_Pourquoi. Bye.